Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Straight Line Podcast. My name is Jeremy Martins, and today I want to discuss with you guys Eastside CRITS Team Time Trial Edition. Eastside CRITS coming up next Sunday, the 10th of September. But yeah, to kick the show off, Eastside CRITS Team Time Trial Edition that happened yesterday, the 3rd of September at Lords View Industrial Park. Very, very cool initiative. We had 24 teams lining up, a mixture of some of South Africa's top pro teams, combination ladies teams, which I think for me was probably the coolest part of the day. Getting ladies on bikes, getting ladies racing. Yeah, let's build a community of ladies bike racing in South Africa. I think it was a great success. Very new type of concept to the general geography of South African cycling. 3.2 kilometer circuit at the Lords View normal race and the guys and girls did 5 laps of that. At the end of the day, Team Honeycomb came on top. They completed their 5 laps in 20 minutes 49 or 46 seconds. If you break it down, that puts them on 4 minutes and 9 seconds a lap. The current record for one lap in a bunch race format is 4 minutes 2 seconds. Yeah, so the guys they went really well, and I saw that the end of the 3rd lap, Jaco van Dijk punctured, so he was out. So they had Drayden Turlot, Casper Krier, and Jason Eggert were pulling hard the last 2 laps. Yeah, well done guys. And very, very close behind them was Team DMS. They were 4 seconds off them. Also, massive effort. The guys let it out and they were going really quick around there. And then 3rd place, we had Office Guru. They rode a very stable race, very consistent race. They started with 4, finished with 4. Good depth. I'm looking forward to see what they can do in the second half of the racing season. This coming up this Sunday, Eastside CRITS at Lords View Industrial Park. We're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to run a similar format in the sense that you're going to have your C category, your B category, your ladies category, and then the A category. Now, your C category, the racing guys or the racing group guys are going to be doing 9 laps. It's a little bit longer. Normally guys have been racing 6 laps, so 9 laps puts it just short of 30 Ks. And as what we have been doing the last couple of events, we will start the C category guys. They will roll off, and then a minute or 2 later behind them we're going to have the youngsters, your 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids. They will start together. They will run 5 laps. They will have their own separate race within the same time slot as what the C category is riding. I'm going to be pushing a lot more on this. We need to get our youngsters on road bikes and track bikes doing these types of events. From a physiological point of view, the race is not that far, but from a skill point of view and a just exposure point of view, if you have more kids racing together, kids want to race, I think, against their own peers. They want to ride against kids their own age and compete with kids on their own age. Racing around a short 3.2 kilometer lap for X amount of laps, I think it's a great exposure. It's a great place for the kids to start racing. Go out and do a fun ride, 30, 40, 50 Ks. For sure, you're going to get a couple of physiological adaptations, which you can do on any given training Saturday or Sunday, but you don't have that racing element. Something I want to touch on a little bit later in this podcast is the racing element in South African cycling needs a bit of attention. So we need to start building from the bottom, building a bike racing culture from the bottom, so that when these youngsters do go to an event like Junior World Champs and 20% under 23 World Champs, they are a bit better equipped than what has been in the past. But I'll touch a little bit more on that later. Next up, the B category. You guys are going to be doing 12 laps. Now it's a little bit longer from your regular 8 laps. A 12 lap scratch race. I'm looking forward to what the B category will do here. The B category is die vinnige ou manne, but there's a lot of under or elite and under 23 riders that are not quite at the same caliber as your A category, your more established pros. This is a perfect place for you guys to jump in, learn the ropes, get some speed work, and see how the racing pans out. And of course, you got some of your juniors and your top level under 17 riders that race in this group. Yeah, speed is up, intensity is up. It's a bit technical, nothing too hectic, but it's a lot better than going out and riding a fun ride where you go 20 k's that way, 20 k's that way, and 40 k's this way. From a technical point of view, you're not gaining a hell of a lot. Environment like this, short, fast, intense, a little bit more technical. I think it's going to help with your skills a lot more. Next up, ladies. Ladies are going to race a 10-lap progressive points race. Now you're probably lifting your eyebrows going, what is that? A 10-lap progressive points race. It's actually very simple. Lap 1, the first rider to cross the line gets 1 point, and only the first rider. Lap 2, the first rider across the line gets 2 points. Lap 3, 3 points, and so on and so on and so on. So when it gets down to the end, lap 10, the first rider to cross the line gets 10 points. Now, what I like about this is that if you're a rider, you're not quite sure if you've got the legs to go with the fast ladies at the back end of the race, but you are good enough to win a couple of the sprints in the earlier part of the race, you're going to put yourself up on the leaderboard. Very often what happens in a format like this, one rider generally takes most of the sprints towards the back end of the race, and he or she, depending if it's a ladies race or men's race, will pretty much take up all the points. But if you're a rider that's one lap one for argument's sake, and lap 2 for argument's sake, and then taking the sprint on lap 4, that's going to put you on 7 points. The riders at the back end of the race, they might finish with the front rider, but if they do not get any points, and you finish on the same lap as them, and you don't stop the race, you'll beat them. You'll beat them because you got points, and they haven't got points. So this is going to encourage the ladies to go for those sprints early on, because, like I say, get a few points, you're up on the scoreboard. And if you can keep on pushing all the way through and the front ladies don't lap you or you don't stop, you're going to stand on the podium. I think you've got a couple of days to strategize about this, but I strongly suggest from the get-go look to go for those points. It's going to help at the end. And then also with the ladies category on Sunday, how we're going to run is the ladies who want to race the progressive points race, they can start. And then a minute or two later, we will have a separate category within the ladies category. That'll be your under 15 girls, your under 17 girls, junior girls, master ladies. You ladies are going to race a 6-lap scratch race. So that means is you won't be sprinting for points. You ladies are just going to ride a 6-lap scratch race. So 6 times 3.2, to call it just short of 20k. Same thing applies to what I was talking about now with the B category and the under 17 boys. It's a shorter, technical, faster effort. You're going to gain a hell of a lot more by having to think on your feet and trying to go for the win in a short 20k race. You'll learn a lot more than what you're going to do a 50, 60, 70k race out in the sticks, where there's not much turning, not much thinking. And also same thing, what I said earlier about the youngsters. We're going to be pushing, really, really pushing to get women's racing up, to get young girls racing up. Unfortunately, I know on the track, the level of the junior ladies is for international purpose, for international racing at World Champs. The girls, unfortunately, not up to scratch. So I think this is my opinion of it and my idea of how we're going to improve it. You've got to get the selection pool. You've got to increase the numbers. You've got to increase the competition. The girls have got to race more. There's got more competition. More competition breeds them to go faster and stronger and push for more. Okay, A category. You guys are going to be doing a 18-lap points race. So similar format to what we've done in the past. In the past has been 12 laps total, sprint every 2 laps. This race we're going to go 18 laps, 18 times 3, or just short of 60 Ks. that you guys are going to be racing, but you'll be sprinting for points every 3 laps. Winner gets 3, second gets 2, third place gets 1 point. Then whoever's got the most points at the end is declared the winner. And also, on the last sprint, you're going to have triple points and triple prize money. So yeah, play your cards right. It's a slightly longer race. Points at the back end of it. I expect this should suit a Brendan Downs type of rider. As I've mentioned in the past, he's not known for his vicious sprint, but when the race starts getting harder and there is a bit of a drag on it, he's the type of guy that's definitely gonna be a protagonist, and I would definitely keep an eye on him. Similar rider to him is Jason Eggert. Also not known for his vicious sprint, but when the race gets hard, he's going to be there and he's going to take his chance on the drag. Those two guys are guys I keep an eye out on. And then Nolan Hoffman recently won the race on Saturday out at Rooival, just north of Pretoria. Of late they've been running races on a once a month basis, which I think is very cool. It's keeping something consistent, keeping the guys going. There's something motivated and keep the guys going. But yeah, I understand the logistics of having to organize race, and you've got a varying ability of riders and varying ability of wants out of a race. You got your fun ride guys that want to get out and do a 100k race and try and crack that 3 hours or 3.5 hours, even 4 hours, and it's a great place to do that. But I think from a technical bike racing point of view, I don't think it's not challenging the guys too much. Yeah, short circuit racing. I hope to see more of this in South Africa. If we want to improve our level of racing, I think this is something that needs to happen more often. Look, I know World Champs in Glasgow was an extreme example. Race from Edinburgh to Glasgow and then do a very tight circuit. But World Champs, this typically follows a similar format. It's always a circuit race. There's a high level of skill required, fast-moving bunch. You need to know how to go through corners. You know how to read a bunch. You know how to flow through a bunch. You need to know when to make your effort to get to the front. And I think for South African bicycle racing, I'll say that again, South African bike racing, not necessarily your fun riders, I feel this is a very important part, and it needs to become more. It needs to happen more in South African cycling if we want to raise the level, especially of our younger riders. If we don't start trying to make things happen like that, unfortunately, youngsters are always going to be on the back foot. With the advent of modern training, the platforms of Training Peaks, the smart trainers that are around, you can do all of the engine work in your garage, in your home, the studio where you train. You can do a lot of the hard yards in there, but there's a huge element of bike racing skill that you're not going to get from Zwift. You have to get out and actually practice those races and do those races. But just an update on the events on the East Side CRITS side. There will be a East Side CRITS on the 1st of October at Lordsview. Then I'm looking at running another team time trial on Sunday the 8th of October. And if you live up in the Gauteng area, Sunday the 15th of October is going to be the Meals on Wheels Classic. So hopefully, there will be things for the riders to do in October. The back end of October is the Amashova race. And then November, there's a couple of events building up to or leading into the 94.7. But thanks for listening today, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Trying to promote bicycle racing in South Africa. Catch you guys later.